In time, you learn to love yourself.
Hello, ladies, and welcome to the second episode of SHEtv. I am so excited for this one. I am interviewing another friend, Anna Laura Sommer, who I actually met on Instagram, slid into her DMs, and asked her out for coffee and drinks, and we've been friends ever since. So Anna Laura is a photographer, an event host and speaker, and a personal trainer. So we have a lot in common. She's also a retired speech therapist, and she's younger than me, which is amazing. So in this episode, we dive deep into changing your mind within your life, pursuing different careers, jobs, and following your intuition and your heart while doing those things. So I'm very excited for this one. Make sure you guys drop a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next episode. Hi, Anna. Welcome to SHEtv.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I'm so excited, even though I just saw you on Friday.
No, yeah, I can't talk today. Sorry. This is going to be an interesting interview.
I know we both are a little light on sleep, so it should be interesting. So, why don't you tell everyone who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Yes, absolutely. So, hey, everybody. My name is Anna Laura Sommer. I live in Philly, where I connected with the lovely Alex. And basically what I do is I create platforms for other women to shine, whether it's their business, their side hustles, whatever it is. And I do that through events and most recently photography. So I'm so excited, like I said, to chat with you and share.
Yeah, so I love all of the things that you're doing, obviously, but I think it's so much needed, especially like in this Instagram social media world that we live in, where it's really easy to get down on yourself for seeing other women out there, but giving ourselves, the confidence and that platform, like you said, to shine and really like live our best lives. So tell us how you got started, because I know this was not like the first thing, like most of us, this is not the first thing that we either went to school with, right, or started on this entrepreneurial journey. So tell me like a little bit of your background in terms of like education, and then how this entrepreneurial spirit came to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it has been a journey, that's for sure. As we all have one. I got started in speech pathology. So that's kind of how you and I connected in some ways, as well as social media. So yeah, master's of speech pathology, was in that field for a couple of years. The whole time I would say, well, half the time I was in that field, I was also pursuing kind of a side gig. I was involved with a network marketing company, and it just sparked this whole fascination, whole passion, once again, for health and fitness. And I'd had that growing up through my mom. She and I would always work out together. And when I joined this network marketing company, it was a nutrition-based company. So I got to learn more about like nutrition and fueling your body. And at the time, I was going through a lot. Was getting married, and in this job, in this particular setting specifically, that I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of, to say the least. And yeah, it just my fiance, now husband, he encouraged me to find something outside of work to focus on. And so I began to focus on nutrition and health, and loved it so much. I was like, you know what? I think I could really help people with this. And just threw out a message on Facebook that I was going to do this like 16-week challenge. Who wants to join me? And so me and 30 women, we hopped in this Facebook group, and every week we kind of check in on each other, see how things were going. And when you start, as you know, I'm sure,
Yes.
when you start a Facebook group, you're the admin. People kind of look to you for guidance. And I was at that time kind of learning along with everyone else. And I loved it so much. So I kind of applied what I was doing in speech therapy, which was working, one-on-one with people, to like a health profession, like a health and wellness, we'll say. And yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there. I pursued a personal training certification, health coaching certification, and so on and so on. And within a year, I had retired from speech therapy and
Yes.
was pursuing this health coaching full time. So I did that through my online site as well as in person. And yeah, so that whenever I started, it's funny, whenever I started this health coaching, like my first website, like draft of it, it's hilarious to look back on like these different drafts of sites that I've made. The very first one, I called it Fuel, because I was going to fuel your body, and I was like maybe going to branch into like fuel for social media, because I knew at some point maybe I'd want to work with people, other entrepreneurs on their social media, help them spread their message. So it's always kind of been in the back of my mind to have these platforms, but I kind of, took the advice to niche down. I know we're like not super huge fans of that word.
Hate with the word niche. Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll just focus on the health thing for now. And it became such an online thing. I kind of felt like I was hiding behind a screen. And so whenever I moved to Philly last year, that's when I started doing more events, hosting at shops, at various studios, and then just teaching fitness, in person. And that was when I really discovered, like, I definitely want to do an event, like on a large scale. And while it hasn't happened yet, that's still in the books. Like, I want to do it right. I'm really excited, for when that happens. But in the meantime, hosting these like get-togethers, wine nights, whatever it is. And then, like I said, most recently, probably the scariest thing I've done actually to date was add photography. And I wasn't going to do that. It wasn't like at the beginning of the year part of like any sort of goal. It just kind of happened. Other circumstances, injuries and all, kind of led me to pursue this. And with such love and support from other people, family, friends, they're like, why haven't you been doing this?
You're so good at it.
I love it too. And it's, like I said, another, tool, service that I can provide other people with that, you don't have to use a self timer all the time, like selfie mode. So that's why I added that in there, to help other people up level their social media game.
Yeah. So, okay, you mentioned so many things that I want to go back and touch on. Yes. So first, retiring. Yes, I love it. When we first met, so fun tangent to this story. I met Anna through someone. So first I met someone on Facebook, and this sounds shady, but in a Facebook group. And they said, hey, I know you're into health coaching, because at the time I was also in network marketing, right, doing health and fitness coaching. And this girl said, I have a friend who just moved to Philadelphia. She was a speech pathologist too, and she's into fitness. I think you should reach out to her. Here's her Instagram handle. So definition of sliding into the DMs. I slid into Anna Laura's DMs. I'm like, hey, we live in the same city and we're both speech therapists and we're both into health and fitness. Let's go out. That was like a year ago, maybe?
Yeah, I think just over a year ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
Yeah, and we have not stopped going out for drinks since, right? One thing that I am just so impressed by you is like all the success you've had in your life, and still how young you are, younger than me. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, she's retired and she's done all these things. But it's so motivating to me, and it's not something that, I wish I could be like that. Why, and I think that's also something that I've learned on my journey, and both something that we try to impart to other women is to be grateful and to lift up that other woman who's doing amazing things. So what advice would you give to our other She members out there who maybe are considering, they're in a space where they went to school for one thing, and myself included, I've decided to keep on my career and to still have, a side business. But what about those women? What would you say who maybe they're wanting more? They're really wanting to step back from their career or something that they went to school for, and maybe still use those skills that they've obtained, whether it's a bachelor or master's degree, and start pursuing, a side business full time?
Yeah, I love that question. I think honestly the answer is there's no perfect time. And I am one of those people. It's kind of easy for me to say because I often don't put enough thought into things. Like jump in with both feet. And whereas my husband, he's like the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Like he gets analysis paralysis and like overthinks before he does. And I would say majority of people maybe fall on that end where they never feel ready enough, and there's this thing on their heart that they want to do, that they want to pursue. And I think a lot of times it comes down to like if you're scared, like
Sure.
what other people will think, those fears, false evidence appearing to be real. You're projecting what other people might think of you, when in reality, like people are like super encouraging. The connections that you make along the way are, just so invaluable. Yeah, I just think it's fear that often holds us back, and sometimes it's fear of not wanting to start at the bottom. And you look at other people's success. They're at the middle of their journey, and you're just starting out. Like you cannot. It sounds like I'm throwing out so many like Pinterest like quotes and stuff, but it's all so true. Like
There's a reason that they're on Pinterest. Like they are real
for a reason. Because it's things that have helped me so much. I think that fear of looking like a newbie, like that's no one's gonna knock at your door and say, hey, you are qualified to do this thing. Go out and pursue it. Like it would be great if that happened. We wouldn't have to throw so many darts at the wall just to kind of see what sticks, like I've definitely done and continue to do. Yeah, there's just no good time. There's no right time. It's just a feeling of listening to your heart. Like, it sounds cheesy, but listen to your heart, pray on it, and just take the leap. It doesn't have to be this big, huge announcement like I am going to do this, I'm quitting. Right. You don't have to do that. If you just want to start small on the side, like just continue to build it until the time is right for you, your family, whoever is involved, for you to maybe take the plunge and go in. I would say I like retired from speech therapy long before I was technically ready. We'll say like from a financial standpoint even. So a lot of people like, I'll be ready when my bank account looks like this, or I'll be ready when blah, 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 blah. You can't always do that. You won't always be ready until you just go.
Yeah, 1000%. And even someone on the flip side, who has a career and a salary, I still tell myself, oh, I'll do this when my bank account looks like this, so that, whether you're working for yourself or for another company or someone else, finances are always going to be an issue. And I think that's also a really big thing that holds women back. And I think it's so important to know that, whether you're an entrepreneur and you're working by yourself or for someone, it may not always be 100% good to go, and you're gonna have to make a decision, like you said, take that leap at some point.
Yeah, and now I'm not saying like go out and quit your day job today and like like you got to pay the bills, right? Yes. So there are things to take into consideration, like be responsible about it, but just know that oftentimes it doesn't look as picture perfect as we want it to, in our heads.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that too, because bringing it back to, we're such a generation that's so focused on social media. And I think we get so caught up in, well, I want to open my Etsy shop, or I want to be a personal trainer, or, I want to be a musician. And we get so hung up on, oh my gosh, I have to make that announcement, right? Like I have to post that I've quit everything, I've quit my job, and here I am. And I love that you said it doesn't have to be that way. It also is not everyone's business if, you don't want to make it that. So I think that's such great advice to just really I know we don't want to sound cheesy or Pinteresty or cliche, but it's so important to follow your heart and just take those steps and do what feels natural and right to you without worrying about the big announcement or making this big grand gesture all at once.
Absolutely. I think like social media, it's such a powerful tool. You know, we love it for so many reasons, but I think it can also, you know, obviously we get in our head with the whole comparison game, and yeah, it can also like block, I feel like, our intuition. You know,
Hmm.
spend so much time in the comparison mode that we forget to listen to that gut intuition, that whole follow your heart thing. We mute that when we're constantly plugged into social media. So I think like taking breaks, and trust me, I am preaching to the choir here. Like I was just telling myself today, I am not getting on social media. And like 10 minutes later, I'm like scrolling. So like definitely like, taking breaks is huge, just to feed your soul, feed your mind, and feed that, you know, creative spirit.
Yeah. So speaking of social media and breaks, what do you do? Like, do you put yourself on a set schedule? Because I don't know about you, but I get a lot of questions from women like, how do I love social media, but it's also driving me crazy. Like, how do I take breaks from it? And personally, I wish I had a better answer because it's still something that I'm working. I don't know if you got this, but I just got an update on my phone that now tells me how many hours I spent on my phone, and it's horrific. So I want to know what you do to kind of like mitigate your own social media habits.
I literally have to leave my phone in another room.
Yes.
It cannot be anywhere around me. Like I will just pick it up to check, like, say the time, and next thing I know, I'm like, ooh, reply to comment, reply to, you know, whatever it is. Um, I wish I had a better answer, but out of sight, out of mind, mostly. I think there's still that urge to like go get the phone because it's like another limb at this point.
Yes.
But yeah, for me, it's just leaving it in another room. Like I've had to start doing that at night, even just to help with sleep. Like we were talking about that earlier. Did not do that last night, and lo and behold, I'm on my phone at 11 p.m. knowing
Mhm.
I have an early start to the day. So yeah, just for me, like putting it somewhere else that I'm not going to physically get up and go get it.
Yeah, that's the same that's the only thing so far that I found that has really worked is leaving it like in another, and you've been to our house and we have a lot of stairs, so purposefully leaving it on a floor, like the top floor, so I know I'm not going to want to walk all the way up the stairs to get it.
I love that. I wish we had stairs. We're on like a single level thing. So yeah, I'm like, oh, but it's in another room.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I want to go over kind of like not your resume, but your track list, should we call it? Because we both have a long one. And I think sometimes as women, we get ashamed or guilty or feel bad about like all of the jobs that we've had. And really, we should just be set on this. And, we should have our career. We shouldn't have a side job, or we shouldn't have more than two jobs. We shouldn't have more than one job. We put all these limits on ourselves when the reality is so many women are doing so many things.
Yes.
So I want to hear your track list.
I just posted this on social media the other day, so I'm
Yes.
actually going to pull that up.
Yeah.
The list, like you read it, it's the most random. I don't know what got me thinking of this. Probably actually adding in the photography thing. I was like, oh Lord, people are gonna think that it's just another thing she's doing. She's trying this on for size, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. These are all the things that I've done in no particular order.
Yes.
Here it is. Okay. Um, so I was or am an event host, burrito roller, Chipotle style, public speaker, blogger, speech pathologist, eBay store owner, elementary tutor, cafe barista, which has served me well in my lifetime, personal trainer, social media strategist, cotton module tagger. I might have to explain that one.
Please.
First of all, I'm from Arkansas, grew up on a farm. My dad grew cotton. And so one of my very first jobs was going out. So, okay, just so you know, when they harvest cotton, I have to really like people. So when they harvest cotton, they put them in these modules, which are essentially just like gigantic rectangular blocks of cotton, and they like pack it together and they leave it sitting on the edge of the field for like a trailer to come pick up and take to the cotton gin to take the seeds out of. So my job was to get spray paint and go spray a number and add a tag to each module. So I would do like obviously like I was working for my dad, and he would give me a list. He would tell me where the field is, hand me the tags, and off I would go after school. So that is my life.
I love it.
So yeah, that's on the list. Health coach, pro scrapbooker, one of my first businesses, Etsy headband shop owner, Care.com nanny, network and affiliate marketer, group fitness instructor, and photographer. And I'm sure there's more. I just haven't.
Oh yeah. I love that. I love that. And I think, like I said, I think it's so important to acknowledge all of those roles and to be proud of them. You know, like I think I can add pool girl on there. What do you call weight rack put backer? I'm sure there's a better name for that. Cashier, waitress, horrible at it because I'm very clumsy. Network marketer, health and fitness coach, lifestyle blogger, speech therapist. I mean, the list goes on and on.
And I love it because honestly, even the cotton module tagger and the burrito roller, like I learned so many invaluable skills in those like jobs. I'm not going to call them careers. But yeah, I've definitely learned something through every little thing. And, you know, some of us, I feel like are born knowing exactly what we want to do and the impact that we're going to make in the world. And then a large majority of us don't, and we're given multiple passions and we become like serial entrepreneurs or serial careerists. I don't know there's gotta be a word, right?
Yeah, it's fine. We'll look it up later.
We got this. So yeah, I just think, yeah, it's all about like exploring and evolving, and it's okay to own those seasons of exploration.
Yeah, I love that. So obviously talking about changing our mind a lot and you know, exploring all these different avenues. Has there ever been a time that you've wanted to quit? And if so, what stopped you? Or if it was a time for you to release, you know, whatever that part of your life was?
Yeah, I would say a few times. I'll go a little later, you know, cotton module tag here, obviously. Burrito roller. I would honestly say with like network marketing, it taught me so much, and I'm so grateful for that, and brought me the most amazing relationships. Love the company, still use the products, but for me, pursuing network marketing as like a full-time you know, profession, it wasn't the right fit for me, at least at that time. And it was really difficult for me to let go. A lot of my family's involved, like I said, a lot of my close friends, and I just felt like I was letting so many people down. But more than that, it was just like, for me, like I had invested so much time, so much energy, you know, I wanted it to work. But it just, like I said, listening to that intuition, listening to your heart, when you feel that like out of alignment, or you feel this pull toward, you know, something else, I think it's really important to listen to. And like I said, being okay with exploring that a little bit. And for me, I found like so much, honestly, a sense of relief whenever I finally, and it took me a long time to finally make that decision to just step away from it. Like I said, like I still have some of the most amazing relationships, and it has actually served me well now doing these events and like photography and stuff. It's opened more doors than that, just through the relationships that I made. And then kind of similar with health coaching, at least in the online space. That is something that I had to take a step back from, at least for the time being, just because I would look and get into the comparison game, and
Yeah.
you know, my business isn't, you know, serving X number of people, and while I was still making an impact and still am, like I'm still working, with my clients, I'm just not like taking on new ones right now. Yeah, it was very hard, I'll say, to let go. And there's still some, I think, like residual, like still not totally over it. We'll say it's like a breakup. It kind of sticks with you for a minute when you wanted it so badly to work.
Yeah.
But just right now, knowing that I'm, serving people best by doing what I'm doing right now, with, events and, connecting women together and, photography, being able to serve them in that capacity. I'm in a much better place than I was, like, even just a couple months ago.
Yeah. And from knowing you personally too, I think we were both going through the same thing at the same time. And one thing you touched on that I think is really important for our other She members out there to realize is that when you quit something, it doesn't necessarily mean that everything you've learned and all the relationships you've built are suddenly going to disappear. It just means that whatever you were doing is, rather than serving you, is now draining your energy, and it's okay to let that go, but it's okay to still bring along those relationships and the skills that you've obtained and the friendships that you've formed to bring them into that next level of whatever your your new venture or journey may be.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like we said earlier, like you learn something in every single thing that you do. If, you're paying attention, like you should be learning something, hopefully. And if you're not, probably it's a good time to leave.
Right. Exactly.
Stop learning. But yeah, there's just so much to be gained from every single experience that you have and that you can serve you well in your next adventure.
So tell me, what is, if there is such a thing as normal, but like what's a normal day like for you?
It varies like by the week. Yeah, it's changed so much. Like last year, I feel like I was on this really like rigorous, or not rigorous, that's not the word. Very like routine, regimented. That's the word. Schedule. And this year, I'm really not. Just because, like I said, with the addition of photography, now I'm doing more on the weekends than I was. I will say something that I do every day and also every week. So every day, taking a few minutes to myself. I am a firm believer in that old adage that you can't pour from an empty cup. You gotta like serve yourself first before you can better serve others. So taking that time in the morning to like connect with my husband, and we like do our little devotional Bible study, and then in the evenings we usually go for a walk together. Right now he's got the dog on a walk. And just kind of bookend our days that way. And then once a week, just taking a full day off. That's so important. So like right now, it was like a Sunday or a Saturday, like a normal day off. Now it's like a Tuesday. Just if I go several days working in a row, like I'm not going to just keep powering through the week. Like I'm just going to block off, hopefully most of the day for myself.
Yeah. So how do you balance a relationship, a marriage, and these other your entrepreneurial spirit, the jobs that you have? What does Cody think, and is he supportive? Do you like have to schedule out Cody time? Like, how do you guys make it work?
Yeah, I love that question because he honestly has been such like probably one of, if not the biggest influence in like my entrepreneurial spirit, like growing it. Like he like waters that seed.
Oh.
Because like I said, like as a teenager, as a young girl, like I started the scrapbook business where I would like make baby books for people. Like I've always had that entrepreneurial like spirit. But it really wasn't until we got married and he encouraged me so much, like find something outside of work to focus on that's gonna, pour into you. And he himself is like the biggest entrepreneurial spirit. He's a student right now, but he's constantly working on like other little side projects and like making these spreadsheets that are going to take over the world. And I'm like watching, like, I don't know, Jane the Virgin for the 100th time. And, it just, yeah, we'll say very supportive and just a big motivator in that area.
Oh, good.
And then in terms of like balancing work and marriage and all, like I said, we kind of try to bookend our days together. So we start off, in the morning together, kind of go our separate ways, whether he's off to class and I'm off to like who knows what, and then come back together at the end of the day and take our dog on a walk. And then we try to do date night also once a week. Usually it's Friday.
Yeah, same. Yeah, we're a big fan of date night and same bookending the days, which is I think really important too when you have a couple who both of them are very busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can easily find yourself going like,
oh, for sure. For sure. Hi, Cody. Okay, so we're going to wrap up soon. I want you to tell me if you have any tips, like maybe 2 or 3 tips that you would give to our fellow She members who are kind of in this space of, I don't know where to go next. They're thinking of changing their mind and doing something new. What advice would you give them?
I think the first thing is, I don't know. Well, we'll say number 1 and 2 are tied. I would say, first of all, like get quiet and listen to your own intuition. Don't like blast out on social media, that you're going to like, you're thinking of doing this, what should I do? Because you're going to get advice coming to you from all sources.
Yes.
And not all sources are good sources, as we know. So really get with like a few trusted friends, like probably no more than 3. Trusted advisors, if you will. And just talk to them, like be real with them. And, if you trust their advice, if you trust that source, like listen, take that into account as you're kind of processing this internally by yourself. I would say I don't know if that's 3. That was probably like 2.
It's like 2.5. I'll take it. We'll go with that. Yeah, that's good. Do you have a favorite book and or podcast?
Ooh, yes. Book right now. Okay, I know this is all over social media, but it's for a good reason. Girl Wash Your Face is awesome. And then another favorite book of mine is The One Thing. I'm going to forget the author, but I can.
Yeah, send it to me later.
But yeah, The One Thing, in terms, it goes very well with this whole conversation because it's all about like choosing, like how to recognize the one thing that's going to kind of like set the domino effect in motion that, builds onto the next thing and the next thing. But you got to find the most important thing first and make that priority, rather than like multitasking, which we all know is a lie. So yeah, those 2 are my favorites. And then podcasts, I honestly haven't listened to podcasts in several months and I'm kind of missing out. But whenever I do regularly listen to them, She Means Business with Carrie Green.
Love that one.
Really love Earn Your Happy with Lori Harder. She's like my spirit animal. So really love her. Yeah, I think those 2.
Good. And tell everyone where we can connect with you. Like if you want to hang out with you online, where's the best place they can reach you?
Yes. My website, it's my name, annalaurasummer.com. It also has links to my Instagram, which I love hanging out on Instagram. Personal handle is at Anna Laura Sommer. That's Summer with an O. And then photography, if y'all are around, want some images, that's Summer Photo Co.
Yes, perfect. And I'm going to link all of those at the bottom of this clip. Okay, time for our mini quiz. Okay, Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
NSYNC.
Pepperoni or cheese?
Pepperoni.
Oh, yes. And which Spice Girl are you channeling today?
Today.
Oh, that is 2 in a row for Posh. I am loving it.
Yeah, the whole business thing. Like, we want to all be Victoria Beckham.
Yes. And like her wardrobe is killer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this has been awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And guys, make sure you reach out to Anna Laura if you have any questions for her. And thank you for joining us for SHEtv. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.